Morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Happy 4th of July. Hope all is well in your world. Hope your week wasn't too bad. And I hope your weekend is even better. Okay. Let's find... Just trying to make sure that Facebook picks me up. Technology is always interesting. Interesting, right? Okay, it hasn't found me yet. There we go. Good, that didn't take too long. Alrighty. Let's get started. So, as always, thank you for shopping with me. Appreciate it. This is what I did last week. So if you haven't seen that one, go and watch that. And it's basically the embossing folder, which if you haven't gotten this started July 1st. I don't know how soon it's going to be before it sells out. And hopefully they'll reorder. The item number is 166145. All the consultants have been loving this one. Okay, it's a nice big size. What is it? 6 by 8.5. Okay. And it looks so pretty. So I'm not going to go over how I did these because I wanted to show you a little different take on it. So go and watch last week's if you didn't see that one. So I decided, a lot of people are just, cutting it down, using it for the back of card base. But I decided, what if we went and did some shapes with it? So I just pulled out some shapes, cut out some paper, and here we go. And then I said, well, I saw somebody the other day that used pattern paper. It wasn't this one. This is the Timeless Plaid. It is retiring, but it's still online. Great for guy cards, okay? I'm going to give you a little, real quick splash of that. And I'm out of a couple of the patterns because I've used them. All right. So that's that. Get that out of the way. All right. So what did I do? Here's the first card I did. I have lots of cards to show you today. And the colors I used are these. So we've got Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry, and Calypso Coral. And I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. And it's the same technique. We're just dragging it over. I'll show you that in a minute. That one's kind of not sticking. This is a pattern, a different pattern paper that has these splotches on it. And then I just embossed it, and then I drug the ink over. So it's, if you're going to cut out a shape, cut out your shape first. Hey, Danielle, thanks for watching. And then emboss, okay? Otherwise, if you emboss first and then cut out a shape, it kind of loses its emboss. It's not as deep. It kind of smooths it out, so to say, okay? So those are the first three. And this Calypso Coral, I'm just going to keep right there because I used it a lot. The next one I decided to do was the frames. So I picked actually these two. And I sponged this one, or direct to paper, actually direct to the paper. I did the boho glue and the, Calypso Coral. And then I pulled out Petal Pink because it was in here. I stamped with the Calypso Coral. I did not like the Calypso Coral. See how much darker it made it? This one is this pattern paper. Both of these are this pattern paper. But this one, I just used the blue. And I like that a whole lot better. I mean, it's okay. It'd be great for a guy card. But I just didn't like how that did that. But I do like how the blue is versus the dark. Okay. Card number 2. And we're going to keep that out again. Card number 3, I don't need that one yet, is with Crumb Cake and Smoky Slate. And I did this one with the arches, okay? Something to keep in mind, I'll give you the tips so you don't make the mistakes, is I didn't line this up very well, so I lined it up here, but it looks a little crooked. Just saying. All right. And what's fun is I took this paper and I just lined it up along the pattern so it just flows cohesively, if you will. So there's card number 3. Take those away. Oh, and then I did another one with those colors, the crumb cake. So I got a crumb cake base and a boho blue cardstock, the crumb cake here, and this is just one of the patterns. And you can see, hopefully if I tilt it that way, the pattern really does show up. If you do it this way, you don't see much, but you can see in person, it would really show up. Just added some words, some little dots, a little thread. There's card number 4. I know you're like, you're not doing anything. I am. I will. Okay. So let's pull these away for a second. And I'll show you the next one, and then we'll do a couple of just, let's see how it comes out. All right. So I also cut, then embossed with the, where is it? Excuse my reach. This one here. I love these ones. These are text. Can't see it. Textured notes dies. And they're so fun. Okay, and then this is just the squares with the little dots from the Stylish. And I did this one, and you can see, you got to be careful with your paper because it will do that. And, you know, the paper's thinner than what cardstock is. This is embossed, and this one's debossed. And I thought what I would do is just put something on the debossed part, because that'll be the background, or either one. And I wanted some just left, you know, normal. And the same, these two are both embossed, so it's raised up rather than down. Okay, and I thought, what if we added a little white to these? So that's what I'm going to try first. And like I said, it's so fun. These patterns are so fun. You've just got to try it. You never know what color is going to be pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to take my white. And what you want to do is you want to use this little edge piece here. Let me make sure I stay on camera. Go bigger. Nope, not that. This. There we go. All right. So we're just going to use that edge, and we're just going to kind of brush it along that little bit of an edge. And all you have to do is just, and maybe this won't work, or maybe it needs to be re-inked. I think my white needs to be re-inked. Okay, let me show you how we do that, and let's see if it'll work. Okay, so I've got my white ink. These actually come as a set. You get the blank pad with the white re-inker. I guess it dries out a little faster. It is pigment ink, so you will have to give it like an extra, 10 minutes or so to dry. And I've seen a lot of people do them different ways. I just like to kind of smooth it along. I've seen people take the back of a spoon. You could do a credit card, whatever you want to do to get that ink on there, okay? Sorry, it's like watching paint dry, but I really wanted to see what the white would look like. So I'm mostly focusing on getting it nice and even up here, okay? And it's going to be really juicy or a little bit juicy, so we'll have to be careful. All right, let's see if that works. I would put more ink than that, but you do not have to use this whole bottle. I've already inked this up a couple of times. I just haven't played with it in a while, so I don't know. It's been really hot here too, so maybe that is a factor as well. All right, there we go. Now we're getting some, and your fingers are gonna get inky. I mean, the only way I think you could avoid it, possibly, let's see if this works, is have a little sticky note and use that to hold on to. And it still is not picking up the white. very much. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to put it much more heavily than I would, just so we can get some of that white showing. Well, it's really sticking to it. So I obviously don't have enough on there. All right, let's see. Let's see if we even see much difference. Well, a little bit. It did lighten up the blue because this was the same color. Let's try it here where we've got a lot more detail. And it, whoa, I'm not moving slow on purpose. I'm moving slow because it's sticking to this scratch paper. All right, this one's working a little better. And it is more of a ghost look, okay? That's a little better. All right, let me wash off my fingers a little bit so we don't get into the next one. All right, I don't know if that's a plus or not. What do you think? A little bit. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna take it over and kind of try and get some of it off, and we'll add a little bit of blue. So because I got a big old glob there, I'm gonna turn my scratch paper over. Maybe I'll go inside. There we go. All right, so let's add a little bit of blue to it and see what we get. Ugh. Hold on a sec. Like I said, wash off those fingers. All right, let's try some blue. So like I said, it's trial and error what you don't think to use. Now, this is a dark blue, you know, fairly dark, so you want to be really light-handed, as light as you can. See what I mean? I am just barely putting it on the paper. Barely, barely. Okay. All right, so that's just barely on there. Look at the difference. And it does kind of change the color a little bit. Can you see how it looks a little bit green? Where's my sample? This one's blue. That's the same blue. I know it's different pattern, but see how it kind of made it, that white made it a little bit different. We'll just say that. All right, so, and then if you wanted to add another color, hadn't thought about this, oof, okay, that I'm gonna have to re-ink because I got some white, because it didn't dry it and I didn't wait. Don't do like me, do like what I say. Let it dry, it'll be okay. The pad will kind of, when it's sitting close like that, it'll kind of redistribute a little bit. And I can take a piece of paper and kind of get a little bit of that off. All right, let's go to another blue that might look good with that. Let's do Bluhm blue. Let's put a little misty moonlight. See what that does. So I'm gonna put it on this one, since that one we know is wet. Let's try it on this one. Yeah, okay. Again, a darker color, so we're super light. Try and be just as light as you can. And I know it probably doesn't look like much on camera, but it did change it. And you can go this way with the short pieces because it doesn't leave too many lines, and you already got lines on it. Okay, so what do you think of that? That's pretty. I like that. The other thing you can do if you want a little darker is take the pad and just hit the edges a little darker. Hopefully you can tell that edge from that edge. A little darker. And just kind of hit the edges, and I just go all the way around the edges to just kind of outline it. It's kind of like instead of adding a layer of cardstock behind, you're just kind of doing it with the ink pad instead. It's kind of like when you do this and you add a little bit of darker color on the edge. Again, if your pad's really juicy, remember that that edge is going to be a little bit wet for just, you know, a little bit longer than if you stamped it. Just a second or two more. All right, now let's see. I'm kind of liking that one. And you can go darker. So when you go darker, let me sit down. I'm right in front of the ring. My nose is about touching it. All right, let's do it this way. Just gonna do this half. Oops. So you can go as dark as you want. Just remember, you can't take it off. So that's kind of pretty. I like that. And then you could go and put another darker color, Night of Navy, Secret Sea, and again, go around those edges. All right. So that is showing you how the process works. Always start with your lightest color. If you're going to use white, make sure it dries first. And then you can just put that onto a card. Okay? All right. Let's move that out of the way for a minute. So then I played with these three colors. Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, and Cajun Craze. I put a little bit more of this on very lightly, and got this. But what I was using, we're going to put it with, was this pattern from the plaid, and I didn't like it. Okay? So I thought, well, what else can we do? Since I wanted to use those. So I thought, okay, well, let's start out with a light Petal Pink for our base, and just some white, right? Pretty. And then I just pulled out my scraps because I don't have any more of this. In those 6x6s, you get several sheets of each pattern, but evidently this must have been my favorite pattern. And so kind of just put that there, put that there, and then we've got our circles. And at first I was just going to use this one and a thank you. Then I thought, oh, I really like how this one is just kind of like a closed petal. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just one of the parts of the embossing folder. Actually, you can probably see it here better. It's this part right here. And like I said, I'll take pictures of these when I load the video. I'll go back and edit and give you some still shots. So I thought, okay, why don't we do something like this on here? So I just run around the edges with the Petal Pink of all three of those. I could probably do it there, but I kind of like the white, and I did do it there. Do you think we should add some around the edge of there? Anybody? Yes, Danielle, should we add a little bit? Hopefully I can see your comment. Thank you for watching. Should we add a little bit to that one or not? It's basically just pull out some colors. What you can do is you can look up what the colors are in the paper you're using, or whatever cardstock you want to use as a base, or layers, or DPS paper. Pull those colors out. But that's not to say that you can't use other colors. Maybe some light grays would work, some neutrals. Light grays, light blues, light browns, basic beige maybe. Those might be pretty. Okay, so no decision on that. I think I will. So I'll show you how I do this. Just open up my pad. You've probably all done this, and you can see, or maybe not. I don't know if you can see that there's just the littlest bit of color on there. Remember, it is ink, so it's going to have to dry a little bit. Remember, when you're gluing these down, make sure you use a lot of glue. And the other thing you can do if you want a little more is you can get out your blending brush, or you can just kind of carefully drag it across to get a little bit more of that color showing. I know I'm going to get a big drag if I'm not careful. Oh, it's better to go back and forth than to get too much. There we go. Okay. So see, let's add a little color. Ugh, I just dumped that on my thumb. Let me close that, wash off my fingers, give that time to dry. Oh my goodness. All right. And this is a silicone mat if you haven't seen this. I love to glue on this. Just makes life easier. Nothing sticks to it. All right, so let's build our card, if we will. I like to use the grid to keep me straight. Make sure I'm staying on camera. And then some adhesive. So then, because this is 5.5 like the card base, I can go 1/4 in and make sure I match it up there to get myself straight. This one's going to take a lot of glue because it's got all that texture. So I go all the way around the corner so that way everything sits flat. And then I go a couple across in the middle. Okay? Again, we can use our grid paper. Maybe, oops, gotta get it on the line straight. That would help. So you can see I'm, stick it in my hands. I'm using this line here to hopefully get us straight. And then I'm just looking top and bottom. So I'm getting that. I'm just gonna set it down, make sure I like it, and then go out kind of, you know, you've got all that glue, so you want to keep it straight. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Keep it straight. All right, let's see. I need some. I think I'm going to bump this one up. So we'll just get some of those on here. Oof, I'm going to have to use a lot of these. Okay, that hopefully will be enough. Peel all the, oh, and I don't know if you've ever seen, here's another tip I like. Okay, they come like this, your dimensionals. I went and put a blend marker through them so then I know if the tops are off or not. Okay. Let's get rid of those because they fly everywhere. So I just try and pile them up in a pile so I can scoop them in the trash later. All right. So then, and I'm kind of lining up this, if you will. This one, I think maybe I will just glue down. Again, add enough adhesive. And so I went a little over there, so I'm going to go a little over here. And then I think I'll raise this words up again. And the other thing I like to do is there's, you can't see it on that one because it's almost gone, but there's little extra bits around the edges that you can also use, which is nice. So I'm going to use that little extra bit down here. And then scissors. Get my snips. And you can very easily cut these in half. They go a little farther, right? And it's a little bit easier to put them on instead of waste 2 of them. I just did them in half. It's not wasting, but you know, it does the job just the same as 2 big ones would have, full ones would have done. All right. Do we want any twine or something? Let's see. What do we have? It's not the right color. Well, I guess we can just put some bling. We'll just put some bling. Okay. Again, I'm going to line up the bottom of the card to help keep me straight. And because I went over the edge on these 2, I'm going to pull this one over the edge. All about cohesiveness, right? And then, why don't we put some pretties on? Let's see. Pull out some of the newer ones I have. Ooh, I like that. This has strawberry in it, I believe, as well. Don't know if that'll work. Sometimes, even though it's not the right color, I just like to lay it on there. See, that kind of is pretty, but I think I want lighter. This is the new in color for the year 25 and 26, the 5 new in colors. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, we have these from the Bokeh pack. It might be pretty. So I just open mine up, fold the flap under, and that way I can just pull them out. See, that's kind of pretty too, but do you like that versus this one? You never know what's gonna look good till you pull it out. Ooh, and I'm a sparkle gal, so we're going with that one. Alrighty. Pick tool. Now, if you look, that color would be fine. That bright pink's okay. That one I don't like so much. So I think I'm gonna go with the more clear and gold ones. You don't want it fighting with it too much, okay? And then if you look at these again, and I don't know if my hand shows it off that well. Let's see here. This might work better. Yeah. These are so pretty. See all that gold in there? There's little flakes of gold in there. And they're so pretty. This goes in one of the sweets. This is Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink Gems. And then I guess it's just the clear, but it doesn't say that. All right, so putting our gems on. You notice we've got 3 bits. I like to do triangles. And I like to kind of cluster them close. So I'm going to put one there. And I like to vary the sizes. So, see, I'm starting a triangle. Your triangle can be thin, thick, long, exaggerated, whatever you want. But see how we've got 2 here, so we need 1 over here. And I like to kind of, I do it like this so I can kind of see where I'm going. You could just take it and push it off of that sheet, carrier sheet, but you can kind of play around with it now. And I kind of tend to hold it up to see where I like it to be. See, so look, I'm trying to do it with my left hand, although I'm not left-handed. See how you could go there, there, anywhere along that triangle. So let's just make a decision and put it there. Time's a wasting, right? It's 4th of July. Got to get some stuff done. Please have a safe holiday. All right, so there we go. So this is embossed, same as this one, and I didn't ink them up at all. I just inked around the edges. So, as I always do, which is your favorite? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and like I said, I'll have still shots of these, or number 5. Now, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments, and if you are not on if you want to check out my YouTube channel, because Facebook is now deleting videos after 30 days, you'll find a lot more on YouTube, and my address is Jackie Bluhm. It's Jackie, Bluhm, Bluhm, and the number's 3117. So thank you for watching. Let me know what your favorite is. Let me know if you're going to try it. Add your pictures to the comments below, and have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye.